Is Mafe Hall worth $20 million, or can Seattle find someone better? Well, this is going to be a bit of a controversial opinion, so I always am going to try to preface my controversial opinions in this way. I'm not looking to die in this ditch. I am not looking to fight it out like Custer on a hill in regards to this next point that I'm going to present. This is something that I just sort of tacitly feel about the Mafe Hall situation. And that is as follows. I have a little more faith in Mafe than Hall at this point, that there can be another step that he can take in his game to getting to more of a place where you can feel comfortable in paying $20 million a year. Where it stands right now is with both of them, I don't feel comfortable spending that kind of money as it stands right now. I don't think that we get the kind of productivity that is worthwhile to paying them that. And that if we make that recognition right now, I feel like there could be more of a drive then at that point to look to see if we can find more of maybe a quantitative difference maker for the edge. Rather than getting two semi B plus guys, you go and you actually try to find an A- to an A. And so I think I would be more well suited to where if I'm going to get into that $20 million territory of things, Thomas, I want a difference maker off the edge. And Mafe's found some productivity, but Mafe's been very hot and cold too as a pass rusher. Been a little dinged up. And not dinged up where he's kept off the field, but where he's dinged up to where you're feeling like he's way less effective as a player because he is so kind of dinged up. Hall is still not yet played the run. And as a pass rusher, he's not an efficient pass rusher. Had a lot of bites at the apple last year to get the pass rush productivity that he did. You give a guy 700 snaps as a pass rusher, it's like, okay, well, then when they get the 7-8 sacks, it's cool, but it's not necessarily meaning it's superly done as an efficient pass rusher. And when you look at Hall's grades in particular, it doesn't speak to a guy that's necessarily was efficient in getting the pressure he was able to get. There were some cool moments, and let me not undersell it. Hall came forward in a major way last year from where he was in his rookie season, but he gave you nothing in his rookie year. He gave you zero in his rookie year. I find myself landing on the spot of, while I don't think either of these players are bad, I think that they're productive NFL players. I think that there's still some upside with both of them. But that $20 million decision is coming down the line, and you're not going to be given 3 years to make the call on this. Mafe's going to be a free agent after this year. You got to decide almost the here and now, do you want to pay that, or do you want to let him walk for nothing? And if you let him walk for nothing, you're probably not going to be able to play the compensatory game because you have so much cap freed up right now that you can go out there and spend for next year's space, that whatever you end up losing him for on some contract in free agency, you're going to just sign back up in-house. So you're not even getting the comp pick back on that one like you might in other cases. This would then lead me in that case to being more open to then doing him as a player that I would look to move, especially with having a guy like Clowney out there on the market where you bring Clowney in for a couple $1 million. Yeah, he's not a long-term solution here being Clowney, but you're doing it with the thought of, we'll get by for the immediacy, and then the long term, we're looking for the actual kind of more of a difference maker kind of cat that can come in and be kind of that full meal deal, a TJ Watt type or a Micah Parsons type, or into that kind of lane of like, pushing up into sort of 14, 15 sacks a year, really being a problem off the edge that offenses have to account for. I'd kind of like to see this defense, McDonald's defense, be one where even when you saw the Ravens there and him with the Ravens, past Clowney in that final year, and when they had Clowney kind of almost close to that place I'm talking about, just being that grade A dynamic edge guy, that he's not really had that guy necessarily yet in his defense. And that I'm kind of wonder about what it would be like if you were able to supply it and bring that guy in that could really be that game wrecker off the edge. That's kind of at the heart of what I'm thinking with this, Thomas, and why I'm leaning in that direction of things. I get a little uncomfortable at the thought of $20 million that you'd have to pay for both of them. But I do think that that would be the going rate. We can haggle and get into semantics about whether or not it's $20 million a year or whether it's $17.5 million a year. It's going to be a lot of money that I'm not going to be comfortable spending because I don't think I'm exactly getting quite the productivity that I want if I'm going to spend that kind of coin. I want my bang for the buck. I don't want to overpay for kind of slightly above average play. I don't think that's the pathway to success or creating an elite team. And I think we could stand to get some more, difference makers working off the edge rather than so many of the kind of just B plus level kind of guys you're trying to roll out there right now. It might work though with just 4 B plus guys. So I'm not out on that either, but that's kind of what my thinking is with this, Thomas, I think you can do a little bit better when you're going to start getting into the territory of spending that kind of money. You got the guy on the rookie contract, you got him the rookie second round contract. That's one thing. Then spending the $20 million on a multi-year deal, that's a whole nother ball of wax.